Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here, and welcome to another video. Now this video is going to be a little bit of a sort of throwback style video where we're going to go through some creative booking alternatives in regards to the Wyatt Sicks. Now you know it's no secret that I've not been the biggest fan of the way that Triple H and WWE Creative have booked the Wyatt Sicks. I haven't. Like, obviously I want the best for Bo Dallas and co. I really do. I was one of the biggest Bray Wyatt fans, a true Firefly, and obviously I want them to succeed. And yes, you could argue they're doing that. Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy are tag team champions. Wyatt Sicks already have championship gold. But if we're being honest, overall the booking has been pretty lackluster, pretty underwhelming. And that's why in this video we're going to go through some creative alternative. And as always, of course, I want you to get down in the comment section, share your thoughts and opinions, your wildest theories. How would you have booked the Wyatt Sicks? Would you have even had the Wyatt Sicks as a faction with this many members? How would you have booked Bo Dallas? Would you have brought back the Uncle Howdy character? So many questions. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. So grab a coffee, whatever your choice of beverage is, sit down, relax, and just going to take you through a little bit of a creative alternative. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, this was 100% the right way to go. It's just an alternative. It's just a creative vision from a fan. But I also at the same time want to hear yours. So let me know yours. Now, first and foremost, I wouldn't have actually brought the Firefly Funhouse to life. I wouldn't have. I know it was Bray's vision. And I know obviously they were trying to honour the legacy of Bray Wyatt in the most tasteful way. But I certainly wouldn't have debuted 5 members in one go. I really wouldn't have. The person that you would have been truly invested in, is none other than Bo Dallas himself. And for him to appear seemingly out of nowhere on an episode of SmackDown or Raw, probably would have put him on Raw, to debut, or re-debut should we say, as Bo Dallas, come down to Feared, dressed as Uncle Howdy from the previous storyline. Now, we know it was no secret that Bo Dallas was portraying Uncle Howdy to protect his brother. Lie for me, brother. Use me for cover. I am the coil. I am the spring. I am the ghost in the machine. Bo Dallas wasn't directly connected to Uncle Howdy. Bray Wyatt was sort of emotionally connected to Uncle Howdy, the ghost in the machine, right? The creepy guy in the background, the guy we saw on the Titantron. Bo Dallas was just lying for Bray, right? Basically, in this promo, this return promo, where the crowd would have gone nuts if Feared had played. Honestly, they would have just gone nuts. Comes down to the ring, takes off the mask, and just basically is completely honest about the fact that he was protecting his brother. Lie for me, brother. Use me for cover. That he's not going to be Uncle Howdy anymore. He can't be Uncle Howdy anymore because his brother's no longer with him. Or no longer with us, should we say, as Fireflies. And you've built into this really emotional promo. Like, you're so invested in Bo Dallas because you can see the hurt on his face, the pain that he's suffering. Like, you just feel sorry for the guy and you just want the best for the guy. And emotionally, for weeks on end, you can get invested in Bo Dallas and just feel his pain. The problem with the Wyatt Sicks at the moment is you're not emotionally invested in Nikki Cross, Joe Gacy, Dexter Lumis, and you could even say Eric Rowan. But Eric Rowan does have ties to, of course, the Wyatt family, the OG Wyatt family, so we'll come on to him in a moment. But the other characters you're not really that invested in, but Bo Dallas, right here with this creative, you're behind the guy, you just feel sorry for the guy as well, and he sort of feels that he can't live up to what his brother would have expected of him. So he's really down on himself, he's hurt, and you know, he just feels like he can't really move forward without his brother, and it's going to be a huge struggle for him. And then, of course, you can cue American Made. This is where you can still have a similar feud, but this time the numbers game is against Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas keeps getting beaten up by Chad Gable and co. The numbers game is just too much for him. And it even results in Chad Gable in a singles match versus Bo Dallas, which of course is going to result in Bo Dallas losing. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, that's daft. Have Bo Dallas return to lose, but think of long-term storytelling. Bo Dallas is getting beaten down to a point where you're just like, this is ridiculous. Like, you return Bo Dallas just to do the dirty on him. He's just going to job to Chad Gable. And then, on an episode of Raw, SmackDown, depending on where you went, Chad Gable and co get this backstage sort of attack. There's this absolute monster in this mask that you can't really make out that well. And he lays out Chad Gable, bloodies Chad Gable, like what we saw when the Wyatt Sicks debuted with that massacre. But this is a monster, we don't know who it is laid out Chad Gable, bloodied Chad Gable. And it later goes on to reveal that that was actually Eric Rowan behind that mask. And now, Bo Dallas has a brother. He has someone alongside him. Now, as a few weeks go on, of course, we get a little bit more sort of character development from Bo Dallas and Eric Rowan. And Eric Rowan could cut a few promos as well. Remember that promo that he cut? You know, that emotional one he cut as part of the Wyatt Sicks? Like something similar to that. How he's sort of driven by pain, really, if anything. And you could have that tie-in with, of course, Bo as well. The two are just really, really suffering together. And at this point, you're so emotionally invested in Eric Rowan and Bo Dallas, you just feel their pain. You know there's this darkness deep down. At this point, you haven't seen the mask fully that Eric Rowan was wearing when he attacked or beaten down American Made. And Bo Dallas is claiming that Uncle Howdy is done and dusted. He doesn't want to portray Uncle Howdy again because he feels that it's disrespectful to his brother. And then you get cue the Judgment Day. This sets up a feud with the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day have the numbers game in their favour and they attack Bo Dallas and Eric Rowan. A pretty brutal beatdown. To a point where you're just like, oh no, here we go again. They're going to job out to the Judgment Day as they did with American Made. But you're behind these two characters, Bo Dallas and Eric Rowan. And you want them to succeed. But they keep getting beaten down by the Judgment Day. And of course, Finn being a centerpiece of this feud. We might even get some one-to-one, face-to-face interactions between Finn and Bo Dallas. But ultimately, this just consistently ends up with Bo Dallas and Eric Rowan getting beaten down. Until, and it doesn't have to be backstage, it could be in-ring. You know, they could do the whole lights out thing. WWE do that really, really well. But make it mean something. You know, how many times have we seen the Wyatts come out, lights out and all of that, and then they appear? Like, let's do this sparingly. Let's make it mean something when it happens. And when this moment happens, we see another monster in a mask we can't, again, quite make out because the lighting doesn't allow us to do that. And this monster comes out and saves Bo Dallas and Eric Rowan. And that monster is revealed as none other than Braun Strowman. A lot of fans wanted Braun Strowman to be part of the Wyatt Sicks, to be part of this storyline in some capacity. He's no longer with WWE, which is absolute madness because you could have two literal former Wyatt family members in Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman teaming up. That's two monsters. That's a monster tag team right there that fans, by the way, actually care about as opposed to Joe Gacy and Dexter Lumis, where many fans don't. Now, of course, Bo Dallas starts to sort of feel that he's got a family. He feels a sense of worth, a sense of purpose. He has Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan by his side now. And that gives him a little bit more power. But still, he's vulnerable. Still, he's not living up to his full potential when it comes to creative. But that comes later. And of course, you could set up a matchup. You could have done it at PLE between Judgment Day and the Wyatts. Now, the Wyatts would go over in this case, I'm guessing, because then you've got a reason for Finn Balor just not to go away. So although the Wyatts would go over the Judgment Day in this scenario, Finn Balor is not satisfied. The fans are going to be thinking, right, Demon Finn versus Bo Dallas. That's what they're going to want to see. And so you can sort of tease that for down the line. But you don't blow all your eggs in one basket. And of course, this can tie in with Bo Dallas actually getting injured. Because, of course, Bo Dallas did get injured. So I'm going to factor this into creative. Bo Dallas is no longer part of the storyline at this point. He goes away, disappears without a trace, injured. So that just leaves Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan. Now, you could sort of tease a little bit of friction still between them in the Judgment Day. You know there's unfinished business. But this is where, obviously, if Bo Dallas is injured, he can't be part of this Wyatt storyline. So you have Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan as a tag team, and they can go to WrestleMania and fight for a tag team championship. Now, you could have had, similar to what you had at SummerSlam this year, a major sort of TLC multi-tag team championship match at Mania, where Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan don't actually need to win here. And then, of course, post-WrestleMania, Bo Dallas is ready to come back. And in between WrestleMania and Royal Rumble of that year, of course, we would have seen the return of Alexa Bliss. Now, I would have returned Alexa Bliss straight away into the tag team division, and I would have started that Charlotte Flair storyline. Tag them up post-Royal Rumble. I wouldn't have had Charlotte Flair win the Royal Rumble in the first place. I just wouldn't have. So then you could have started that story a little bit earlier. And of course, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair could have won the tag team titles at WrestleMania, rather than having Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. No one really wanted to see that, right? Therefore, you got the fans, like now, behind Charlotte Flair. They're behind Alexa Bliss as the tag team champions. And of course, that storyline can then head in all the way into SummerSlam. Alexa Bliss is still sort of teased as part of the Wyatts, but you don't know for sure that that's going to be the case. There's little Easter eggs along the way, but ultimately you just think that Alexa's with Charlotte, they're a tag team, and nothing of it. But deep down, you know eventually Alexa Bliss is going to turn on Charlotte. Let's not forget about Extreme Rules 2021. Charlotte Flair destroyed the original Lily doll. Now, if you're a long-term storytelling type kind of person, you're not going to forget that. Therefore, you know, heading into SummerSlam, that can be the payoff where Alexa Bliss betrays Charlotte Flair, brutally beats down Charlotte Flair. Now, post-WrestleMania, of course, Bo Dallas, like he came back this year around May time, he would return. But this time when he returns, there's something different about him. And now we're starting to see the return of the ghost in the machine. But this time it's not purely the Uncle Howdy we saw haunting Bray. It's actually a combination of Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy. Bray Wyatt said that he was Uncle Howdy, right? This is a combination of Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy influencing Bo Dallas, much like we have seen in sort of snippets with the Wyatt Sicks, but this is really starting to influence Bo Dallas. There's almost this element of darkness to Bo Dallas. Now, you can have Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan, because they're an established tag team at this point, go into SummerSlam and go for the tag team championship, where they could win it. So, similar to what we saw this year, Wyatt Sicks retained, but this is the first time in this creative that Braun Strowman and Eric Rowan have captured the tag championships. Gold has gone to the Wyatts. Now, I keep calling them the Wyatts because I don't know actually what I would call them. I don't know whether the Wyatt Sicks would actually be the name that I go with. But get down in the comments section, would you have renamed the Wyatt Sicks? Something different? Now, you can see here from this, I've not got 6 members, but we'll get onto that in a moment. Now, of course, we bring things back to Bo Dallas. Now, post-WrestleMania, you would 100% have revisited the Judgment Day and Wyatt's feud, but this time it's more personal. Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman are in the tag team division, but as the main storyline, you have a one-on-one feud between Bo Dallas and Finn Balor. And Finn Balor is laughing because he's got the Judgment Day on his side and he's got the ace up his sleeve. He's challenged Bo Dallas to a match, a singles match at SummerSlam. And he feels a bit smug because he knows he can bring out Demon Finn Balor. They've teased that, of course, through the year, like we mentioned in the storyline. So you know then you're going to get Bo Dallas versus Finn Balor. And you're thinking, how on earth is Bo Dallas going to defeat Demon Finn Balor? He's going to get destroyed. He's going to get ruined. It's not going to end well for Bo Dallas. Now, of course, earlier on in the night at SummerSlam, the Wyatts and, of course, Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman have captured the tag team titles. And Alexa Bliss has already turned on her tag team partner in Charlotte Flair. She's turned on her. Brutal beatdown. You're thinking, hang on a minute. We've still got Finn Balor and Bo Dallas to come. And this is where we see the debut of a whole new character for Bo Dallas. a dark character, a masked character it can be, something that we only see sparingly moving forward, but we're like, what the heck is this? This is dark. Like, I mean, like, creepy. You know, the Fiend was terrifying, right? He had this presence, but you get this character of Bo Dallas that you're just, oh my God, like, what the heck is this? And you're wondering where this is influenced from. And of course, this new darker version of Bo Dallas would go over the Demon Finn Balor. Absolutely. And of course, you can parallel this to SummerSlam 2019. It's a nice hats off to, of course, the debut of the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And that'd be really, really nice. And then you're thinking, well, where on earth is this stem from? And then obviously then you tie in Alexa Bliss. And then you've got Alexa Bliss, Bo Dallas, Eric Rowan, Braun Strowman standing tall in the ring as a unit. And there's your faction. I honestly think fans would be far more invested in that. Alexa, Braun Strowman, Eric Rowan, and Bo Dallas. And there's your faction. No need to have a Wyatt Sicks. No need to have too many members. These are all former characters that were heavily connected to Bray Wyatt. Characters that you're actually truly invested in. Then you've still got plenty of meat on the bones with this storyline moving forward. You've got the potential new character reveal of Alexa Bliss. Maybe Lilith, aka Lily, the Night Demon, right? Comes to life. You know, you've got that build. You've got that tease. What were these masked versions of Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman that were teased that we only just slightly saw? Are they going to come to life? And then down the line, of course, the payoff is then you get the full-blown, darkest versions of each character. Masked versions of each character. And then you get similar to what we saw from the actual Wyatt Sicks debut. You could have all of those characters perform this backstage massacre and make it really mean something. And then you just fear for your life the thought of the Wyatts. So Bo Dallas has essentially been influenced by Uncle Howdy again. But truly this time, his brother's voice spiritually sort of in his ear, telling him to do dark things, to forge his own legacy, to forge his own creative. What do you think? Get down in the comments section, share your thoughts and opinions. It's always good exploring alternative booking scenarios. And I just think we'd have got to a point then where you're massively invested in the Wyatts rather than it just be what it is now, which honestly feels like a bit of a tribute act. I don't want to be harsh. As I said, I want the very best for this faction. I'm massively behind Bo and Co. In order for this to work, the fans need to be emotionally invested. I just don't think at the moment they really care. We see Uncle Howdy in that mask come out. There's no facial expressions. Hiding behind that mask is Bo Dallas, who's creatively got so much in him. From a performance standpoint, so many similarities to Bray, like even just visually. Like he's got it. He really has. He can cut a hell of a promo. Just never gets the chance to do it because he just comes out just as Uncle Howdy. People just feel that's a rerun of the previous Bray Wyatt creative. Do something fresh. Do something new. Do something that's going to blow their minds. Thank you so much for watching the video. As always, it'd be very much appreciated if you could like the video, share the video, and even better, subscribe if you're new. Catch you in the next one.